Hi, today I'll show you how a simple NPM supply chain attack can steal your API keys and how Riptide stops it. Let's start with our demo application called Support Assistant. It's a simple helper agent written in Node.js. It's a chat UI on the front, and in the backend it calls an LLM, now it's OpenAI, and uses a Postgres database as a tool to answer questions about support tickets. It looks normal, queries work, results come back, and the app behaves exactly as you would expect. But this application has an NPM supply chain vulnerability. Before we look at the simulated attack, it's worth recalling how real incidents play out. Take the recent Shai-Hulud campaign, for example. In it, the malicious NPM packages silently execute during pre-install, scan developer and CI environments using the truffle-hog scanner, and harvest any machine credentials they find in environment variables, config files, or kubeconfigs. Instead of sending the results to an obvious remote host, the malware creates public GitHub repos or actions using stolen credentials and pushes the stolen secrets there, opening the door to further lateral movements and making the exfiltration easy to miss. In today's demo, we'll keep things a bit more simple. Our payload just scrapes environment variables and posts them to a local ngrok address. But the target is the same, static machine credentials. So let's take a look at what our poisoned NPM package can do. Actually, something very similar as in the Shai-Hulud campaign. The simulated attack quietly scraped the pod's environment variables and sent whatever it could find to an external sink. Here in the ngrok UI, you can see the post payload. It contains OpenAI and Anthropic API keys, and that's all an attacker needs. Riptide's connection inventory also shows these outbound calls to unknown ngrok IPs, but all it takes for a successful attack is one request that goes through. So before we move on, it's important to understand why static dependency scanners don't catch this. They are invaluable for known CVEs, but they only operate on metadata. If a new version of a legitimate package suddenly behaves maliciously, it simply won't show up. So the realistic approach is to assume breach. Assume that at some point a package will slip through and run code on your machines. The question becomes then, what can it steal once it's there? It also doesn't mean you should drop static scanning. Defense in depth is as important here as everywhere else in security. So go back to the demo. Next, I'm going to remove static credentials. I do it through Kubernetes, and I will update the Kubernetes secrets so the API keys are literally set to none. With no persistent secrets left inside a pod, there's nothing to scrape anymore. So as expected, the app can no longer call the LLM. It breaks because the keys are gone. In a real environment, you would configure injection first, so there's no downtime. But here I intentionally removed the keys to prove that they are no longer present. So now let's enable Riptide's just-in-time injection. Instead of putting credentials into the environment, Riptides injects them only into legitimate requests, either directly on the virus HTTP headers or through a temporary system mount that only the actual process with the right Riptides identity can read. As soon as the policy is active, the app resumes normal behavior. The UI should work again, Postgres queries work again, and we didn't even restore the pods or rebuild the image. The backend is functioning, but the pod still has no static keys. The Riptides dashboard shows that the support assistant's identity has credential injection configured here when it is going to Anthropic or to OpenAI. So finally, let's see the output of our malicious scraper again. It still executes, but because the other code is still there, but now it has nothing to steal. The exfiltrated payload shows empty or none for the API keys. The attacker's foothold didn't disappear, but the exploit's payoff did. That's the difference just-in-time injection makes.